valuation grouping code, then valuation modifier, valuation modifier, then valuation modification key. Valuation modification key. Here there are different requirements are there. Okay. Now the combinations. Okay. Now I will give a example so that it will be easy for you to understand. Then let us assume here when the valuation grouping code will come into picture, when the valuation modifier we are going to use, please concentrate here. And also I am repeating once again, this is a very important one for your interviews also. Even they will ask you the real time scenario like this. Okay, once let me explain the functionality, then I will explain, I will let you know how in interview they are going to ask the query about this one, valuation grouping code, valuation modifier. Especially they will ask, okay, the real time scenario. Now I will let me explain you. Now the combination of, let me explain you first the combination of valuation grouping code. When we are going to use the valuation grouping code, now I have a company code, we have a company code. Okay, we have a company code. Let us assume GE01, we have the company code. Let us assume GE02, I have a two company codes. Okay, now two company codes, we are having the two company codes. One is a GA01, another one is a GA02. Then remember here, now under GA01 I have a two plants. I have a two or three, whatever it may be, multiple plants. Let us take the two plants for our understanding. One is a Hyderabad location. Okay, Hyderabad. Okay, let me put it like this. Plant HYD. Okay, plant manufacturing plant. One plant which is in Hyderabad location. Another one is a which is located, let us assume, Pune location. Okay, Pune location. Now for one, okay, now please concentrate here. This is the important for you. This is the important for your real time also. Maybe you as a FI consultant, we should aware all these things. This is the integration part. So that is the reason I am going very slow here. Now let us assume we have a this scenario. Okay, now one plant it is in Pune, one plant it is in Hyderabad. Let us assume for company code GE02 also, for GE02 also, let us assume I have the, let us assume for GE02 company code I have a two plants. One is a plant Mumbai. Okay, Mumbai means the plant is nothing but a where you are producing the material. Okay, remember where you are manufacturing your product. One is a Mumbai. Okay, another one is a plant Chennai. Okay, Chennai. Now let us assume here this is the, okay, this is the company code. These are the four, I have two company codes. I have the, okay, four manufacturing plants in different locations. At this point of time, let us assume, okay, these are the, okay, plants. Okay, then these are all the plants. Okay, this and all. A little bit light. Then plants, I have a plants like this. Then now Now let us assume, now for whenever I am purchasing, when I am purchasing a raw material within India. Okay, let us assume I am purchasing the raw material within India. Okay, at this point of time within India, then for local raw material purchases, for local laptops purchases, let us assume, I will give an example. Now to manufacture my product, I would require just some iron, okay, or some rubber product. Okay, now whenever I am purchasing the rubber, okay, for my manufacturing purpose, then for local purchase means within India. Remember, I am repeating once again, the purchases, okay, within India for local material, for local material purchases, for local raw material purchases, then let us assume I am going to use the for local raw material purchases. Okay, I will put it like this. For all the, this point is very very valid point. Okay, for all the local raw material, but raw material means any material, either rubber, fuel, whatever it may be, it depends on your requirement. Okay, for all the raw material purchases, now I am using the, okay, now for all raw material purchases, we want to we want to post we want to post to the accounting entries, or accounting entries into the single GL account, into the one GL account. One GL account. Okay, what is that one GL account? Let us assume inventory account. It is a my balance sheet and it is an asset account. Now let us assume for inventory postings, let us assume 200, sorry, 200, 121. I am using this GL account. Means either if I am going to purchase for this plant, I want to update all inventory purchases, inventory related transaction to this GL account. Or else if I am going to do the purchases for Hyderabad plant also, I want to the transaction should be updated to the same GL account. For this also to be updated the same GL account. So here for all the plants, for all the plants, we want to update the same GL account at this point of time. Remember, whenever we are following the, okay, same means, remember one more thing also, the chart of account should be same here. Okay, under company code, what is our chart of accounts? Okay, sorry, chart of accounts, I forget chart of accounts. Okay, if we are following the same chart of accounts, we are following the GE means both company codes are following the same chart of accounts. Okay, then we would like to update the all the business transactions, all the inventory related, all the local purchases to this GL account. At this point of time, how we are going to map? Because okay, now for this plant, if I want to update the purchases, then I am going to use this GL account. Means every time for this plant, because company code to company code here differ. Okay, but in under each and every company code, we want to create the GL account. But now remember, the valuation area which we are going to, the valuation, the plant is nothing but our valuation area. Okay, now for each and every plant, I would require to assign this GL account. Okay, I mean I am going to assign repetitively the same GL account. For this plant I have to assign the same GL account. For this plant I need to assign the same GL account. I mean repetitively the same GL account. Let us assume I have a hundreds of plants. At that point of time, okay, to assign the same GL account, there is no meaning, because it is a repetitive work. It will be the repetitive work. In order to avoid that situation, what we are going to do, okay, we are going to use the valuation grouping code. The valuation grouping code is nothing but a, okay, groupings together, groupings groupings together the groupings together the valuation areas. remember this is the important, the valuation area, valuation grouping code is nothing but it's groupings together the your valuation area. So how we are going to map that one into the system? Remember my valuation valuation area is a nothing but a, remember valuation areas is nothing but your plants. One more. Okay, sorry. So the valuation areas, what is mean by the valuation areas? The valuation areas, your plants. Okay, the plant wise we are going to performing the valuation. One moment. Now, next, chart of accounts. Chart of accounts. Then after chart of accounts, then company code. Company code. Then valuation grouping. Here, this is the important valuation grouping. So here what I am trying to do here, I am going to groupings together the valuation area. How I am going to map this one into the system? Let me explain you. This is the important one. Then let me make it with different color. Then how I am going to map the valuation area is a Hyderabad plant. Remember Hyderabad plant, then Pune plant, then Mumbai plant, then Chennai plant. Okay, Chennai plant. Now the valuation areas are nothing but your plants. Now the chart of accounts, what we are having, the same chart of accounts we are following for all our company codes. Then company code is a GA01, the same GA01. Here is the GA02, then GA02. Now valuation grouping code, in order to assign the same GL accounts multiple times, what I am going to do here, I am mapping, I am giving the means X, means once if I X under this X, if I map this GL account in the OBYC transaction code, the same GL account will be applicable for all these plants, for all these plants. Remember, this is what the valuation grouping code. It will be very important one, the valuation grouping code. Okay, valuation grouping code, because we are using the same GL account here. The GL account, remember here you need to understand GL account mapping. This is the important. Now GL account mapping. Okay, the same GL account. Okay, the same GL account, what we are going to use here is the 200 121, what I have explained here. Okay, the same GL account will be assigned here. In order to avoid the same GL account multiple times, we have a concept to call it as a valuation grouping code. Okay, no need to map this GL account. You may, okay, maybe you may get some doubt, sir, only the valuation group you are giving, how system will know without assigning this GL account? But in the configuration, okay, in single place, okay, with valuation grouping code, if you map with this combination, then no need to map these things. If you do the mapping this one, okay, if you do the mapping, then automatically it will applicable for all your plants. Remember, for the valuation areas. Now this is the concept of valuation grouping code. Now the next one would be a valuation modifier. Valuation modifier, that is the important one. Now let me take the same example. Let me take the same example. Valuation, here is the valuation modifier. Valuation modifier, for what purpose the valuation modifier? If each plant, each plant each plant is following the, okay, different GL accounts, different GL accounts for for valuation, for valuation, then the valuation modifier function, functionality need to be activated. And need to be activated. Then meaning that here, let us assume I have a company code same GE01, GE02. I have a same chart of accounts, but even though here for all the raw material purchases, okay, I am going to follow the different GL accounts. Different GL accounts. Here, let me assume for this plant, I am going to follow the 200, 121, the GL account in this situation. Means for this valuation, I am going to use the separate GL account. I am going to use the separate GL account for the material valuation. Then for this GL account, I am going to use the 122 separate GL account. Means here the completely the GL accounts will be differ. Okay. For this plant, I am going to use 200, 200. Okay. Just for our understanding. Now here in this case we are using the separate, we are using the different GL accounts. We are using the different GL accounts, 200, 250, whatever it may be, since it is a balance sheet and asset account. Now in this situation, if there will be a situation, we would like to use a separate GL accounts, okay, for each and every plant, for each for valuation purpose, then valuation grouping code will not work. In this situation, the valuation modifier will come into picture. Remember, valuation modifier will come into picture. Okay, we must have to the valuation modifier, maybe for this valuation the modifier will be X, for this one should be Y, for this one should be Z, for this one should be A. Okay, we must have to assign different individual valuation modifiers. Then under this valuation modifiers, we need to assign the separate GL accounts here. Okay, individual each and every value modifier, with help of the valuation modifier, the GL accounts mapping will be differ. Okay, this is the concept of the valuation modifier. Okay, if anyone is not, if anyone is not clear about this one, so please let me know. Okay, this is the very important one. You need to understand this functionality. But okay, now I have explained the functionality. Now in interview they may ask you the question like this. Okay, now let me give you the business scenario. I have a requirement. Now I have a one company code. I have a multiple plants. Now for each and every plant, I am following the, means each and every plant I have a separate GL accounts. GL accounts for evaluation. How can we fulfill this requirement? At this point of time, you need to explain the valuation modifier functionality. Okay, by using the valuation modifier functionality, we can able to differentiate the GL accounts. Okay, we can map individually. Okay, for each valuation area wise, the GL accounts we can map. Remember, okay, this is what you need to explain. Okay, so so the value, this is the importance of the valuation modifier. Valuation modifier. Okay. Now the valuation grouping code I have explained. Valuation modifier I have explained. Okay. Then valuation grouping. Okay. Valuation modifier. Please understand this one is a very important one. Okay. Then the next one is a okay, now even in also we have a posting periods are there. Okay, we have a posting periods are there. Okay, that anyhow I will cover when we are going to open the periods. Now, okay, now in material management, we have a different kind of materials. Inventories are there. Means I have a raw materials, we have a stores, and we have a packing material, finished goods, semi-finished goods, okay, trading goods. So different kind of materials are there. Inventories are there. Okay, how we can differentiate these inventories in the system? Okay, to differentiate the inventories in the system, the standard SAP has been delivered for each and every inventory type. Okay, it's a material types. What we are going to call this one, it is a material types. Okay, to identification material types. Okay, for identification key. Okay, inventory inventory identification key. The inventory identification key. How we can identify the inventory? How we can identify whether it is a raw material? Okay, how we can identify that one? Now, inventory identification key. Let me give this one. Then pricing controls are there. Okay, then I will explain you pricing controls. This is the important, the pricing controls. Also pricing controls I will explain you one by one. I will explain you. Then okay, material type. For raw materials, how can I identify in SAP system? Okay, with help of the identification key ROH, I can able to identify wherever I could see the, okay, so the ROH, this is the key will be there. This is the raw material. What is the pricing control? Let me first describe the pricing control, then afterwards I will explain you. What are the pricing controls, then how system, okay, in what kind of pricing controls for which material we are going to set up the which pricing control. I will explain you. That is the important one. Okay, now pricing control is a V is a moving average. Okay, moving average. Then the next one is a stores and spares. Okay, stores, then stores and spares. Okay, then it is a how we are going to identify in the system. I will show you. Okay, ERSA is for the, okay, moving average price. Okay, one more thing I forget, here is the, okay, then pricing controls, so moving average I have maintained. Okay, here is the purchase price for raw materials. What price we are going to apply? Purchase price. Remember, for this one also, for stores and spares also, purchase price we are going to apply. Means purchase price in the sense, now I am purchasing is 100 kgs of the, okay, rubber. Okay, 100 kgs of the iron. Okay, for each per kg cost, what would be the cost? For it's at 50 rupees per kg cost. Now 100 into 50 rupees I am going to apply. Means this is the for valuation purpose. Okay, purchase price we are going to apply on this material. Then the next one is a packing 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 material. Packing materials, I have a packing materials. Okay, to pack my products. Then VE RP is the to, then this one also is a moving price only, then purchase price only here. Then the next one is a finished goods. Finished goods means where I have manufactured the product, the final product has come out, then the product is ready to sell. Okay, the product is ready to sell and ready to usage. Okay, so that one we are going to call it as a finished product. Okay, how we are going to identify the finished product? FERT is the, okay, key. Then for this one we are not going to use the moving average standard price, we are going to use the standard price. Okay, why we are going to use standard price, why we are going to use moving average price, definitely I will explain you. For this one there is a one complete session, okay, we are going to discuss. Then this one is the, okay, for the finished goods. Okay, raw, for how we are going to, which price we are going to apply? raw materials Raw materials and overheads are nothing but to manufacture my product. I have used different kind of, I have spent different kind of expenses. Okay, the overheads where we are going to see into the product costing. Now to manufacture my product I have spent labor, I have spent machine hours, I have used some machines, I have used some power. Okay, so all these expenses which I am going to call it as a overhead expenses, means raw material purchases plus overheads. Okay, now to purchase my cost is a 100 rupees. Okay, for raw material cost. Now to overheads on that, to manufacture my product I have incurred is a 10 rupees to manufacture my product, maybe labor, okay, machine hours, power consumption, whatever it may be. Then and apart from this, then I am going to add some margin in the sense some profit I am going to add. That would be the margin I am going to add. Let us assume 2 rupees, means the total price would be per unit cost which I would like to sell 112 rupees. This one we are going to call it as a raw materials plus overheads. Then finished goods. Okay, then semi finished goods. Sorry, semi semi finished goods. Now I have a semi finished goods. How I can able to identify HALB? I can able to identify for semi finished goods also moving average price. Okay, then semi finished goods also, which semi finished goods also, which I am going to apply the moving average price only. Okay, then if there are any trading goods, okay, then this one is the same for the, this one is for the same for the purchase price only, purchase price only. Then if may I may have the trading goods I may, how I can identify HA HAWA, I can able to identify this one which I am going to goods is a standard price. Trading goods means it's a final final one. Okay, then moving average price, purchase price only, which I am going to use here. Now now let me, now the next one is a services. Okay, so for services I am going to use DIEN. Okay, so for services I am going to use again moving average price, again purchase price only, what I am going to use here. Then now we are going to identify, okay, into the system. Okay, these are the identification keys how we are going to identify into the system. Okay, now, okay, so now this is now, okay, so how system will know, okay, this is the raw material, this is the stores, and this is the packing material. Okay, we have the identification keys are there, okay, to differentiate my materials. Okay, now we